And we are following this story as it continues to impact even our area. And we have Morgan in here because we have meteorologist Andrew Stutzke traveling to Memphis, Tennessee, which is near the area where Ginger Z just was, for a series of stories on how this low river level is impacting everywhere from here to Louisiana. Andrew, good morning. You're actually on mute.
Really? Now we're
There you go. There you go. Oh, wow. Only almost 3 years of it. But anyway.
So, right? You think I'm an expert by now.
Yeah. Well, we're usually on this side of it, so that's okay. We'll give it a slide this time. But explain what you're doing as you go down to Memphis.
Yeah, exactly. So we're on Interstate 55 right now. We're about an hour to an hour and a half away from St. Louis, which we'll be passing through. But as you saw in Ginger Z's report there, some big impacts, especially in the Memphis area and points south. And while we haven't seen that yet in the Quad Cities, that's what we're trying to find out as we head down here, is what conditions would we need to see back closer to home in order to start seeing things like barge traffic coming to a complete halt and the sandbars rising up from the ground. So there's a lot of questions we have and a lot of things that are certainly going to be impacted. And that's what we're coming down here to find out, is what are folks down here going through in order to prepare ourselves potentially if we were to see this same thing up closer to home in the Quad Cities on the Mississippi River. And I'm glad that Ginger was talking about barges in her report there, because that's one of the things we're going to be talking about as well. In fact, we just learned a couple of days ago that the cost to send grain on those exact same barges, because barge traffic is slowed down so significantly and it's so limited because of the low water level, the cost of that just this year alone has gone up 384% versus last year. And when you compare it to the 5-year average, it's up 439% in cost, because the demand for barges is so high, but the supply is so limited. So that's going to have a direct impact on us as consumers.
Right.
Plus, there's going to be a lot of other impacts as well. So that's where we're going to go find out.
They have nowhere to go down there because, as you were saying, the river levels are low. We checked them before the show. They were sitting
around 4 feet. So here, they're still pretty low here, but we're still in that okay zone. But we're still kind of at that concern, especially as we do look down south, because whatever happens up here in north is going to be what impacts those river levels to help throughout the upcoming season too.
And Andrew, you were saying that the river levels where you're going are actually negative. How is that even possible?
Yes, they're negative. So these, the zero level, if you will, for the river, Mississippi River, this was established many, many years ago. We're talking about 100 plus years ago. And of course, since then, there's been a lot of changes to the river. There's been dredging that's been going on, and it's still going on to this day. And of course, the river bottom is going to fluctuate because you've got all these minerals going in, sand, silt from fields. So that's why we have negative river levels. That zero has never been adjusted to account for all the dredging and changes. So even though it may be negative, there's still some water in there. And we have gone negative, believe it or not, in the Mississippi River in the Quad Cities. That was back in the early 1900s. Haven't done it since then. But the hope is we're not going to do that. But there are some reasons as to why we have water in the Mississippi River closer to home and why they don't so much south. And we're going to be diving into that as well. Why that is while we're down here too. So it's going to be quite the journey. I encourage you to join me at WQAD.com. I've made it so easy to find and track my daily blog that I'll be updating. Just go to weather, hit Ask Andrew. The blog entry will be there. And we've got a lot of incredible stories that we're going to be documenting in the short day and a half that we're going to be down here. So definitely make sure and follow along. There's going to be a lot of interesting and, of course, some amazing visuals coming out. We've got the News 8 drone with us as well, and we can't wait to take you along on our journey here.
All right, Andrew, thank you so much. I'm sure we'll be checking in with you several times over the course of your trip.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.